Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Have you guys felt the um energy of like say like maybe 2020? Have you guys felt like maybe you're experiencing some of the energies from 2020? Well, if you haven't, I have, and I just wanted to share it. I tried to go on and do a live recording. For some reason, I have a problem with that, but I'm going to figure it out. And the problem is not too big. It's just me not being used to going live. So anyway, 2020 had so many different circumstances that we have not really completed. And when I say completed, when I look at the collective, we have um, work, profession, job situations where people are not particularly being able to maintain them. Um, that has to do with the South Node in Libra. There are Capricorns who are experiencing work changes, relationship changes. And so I can say that I know working with Capricorn energy in 2020, those same energies were going on. If you're a Virgo, your money is changing. If you're a Cancer, there's changes going on in the house. And in 2020, you may have been experiencing that as well. If we look at Scorpio, Scorpio was changing groups or working with groups, and so they probably are changing the group dynamics. Sagittarius is looking at from 2020 till now how the patterns of philosophy, um, the travel, expression, or expansion in territory and in a vocabulary or in self is taking place. The Aquarius are looking at humanitarian situations from 2020. And my point is to look and see how maybe you are actually being faced with these energies again, how you have changed the dynamics or how you've evolved your dynamics from 2020 and what you can do. Pisces is definitely looking at 2020 because there's a lot of organizations, churches, institutions, and celebrity situations that have been put out in exposure, but it's hyped up that were going on also back in 2020. Some of the information in that area of Pisces is being expanded where we can see more exposure for the church, for institutions, not treating people right. There could be institutionalization where people are being put in and it's being found out that they weren't guilty. People have been killed by, of course, police. Just talking about what happens in Pisces. Pisces is a energy of the Christian dark age of the Christian sector. And if we look at the patterns of dark ages, then we could see how Christ was illuminating situations, but that Christ would be within us. And so there's always a crisis, and the crises that are going on at this time in the Pisces energy, the end of this cycle or season, the end of the alchemic season, which is number 4, to change things for those who have been putting in self-development work is here. You could also see that maybe you have some new karma, positive karma that's coming where you've done a cycle and season of negative karma. Um, when we look at Aries, and I'm giving brief scenarios, I do one-on-one sessions. You can always, email me or go to my website, www.kimwarnersworld.com, or go on to Warner's Human Service. It's in Tempe, but I do Zoom calls. You can always get a consultation and a session to put you on the right path in that manner. But Aries is, looking at from 2020 till now, identity situations and the changes in their identity, also their affiliations. Um, Tauruses are looking at their money, how changes have come in their money, how they can change their money, real estate, and their food intake. They're doing a great assessment. Geminis are looking at the communication at this time, how they communicate, how they can become more effective with communication. And I think that um, when we look at 2020, going back to the beginning, um, collectively, we had a change in the world that has never happened. And that is where there was money put out with different help circumstances where the pandemic came in. The pandemic is cleared up where it's not in a crisis mode, but there was so much help out there for people to be able to stay home when the pandemic came up and it was killing, off people. Or the COVID was killing off people. And so my point is that if we could look back to 2020 and see our progress or where we could be progressing, we could see the end of a cycle now and continue the pattern of progression. Why? Because we want to evolve. And if we slip back into old habits, or if we stay in old habits, then we're caught up in a cycle that's not actually working for our mental health, our spiritual health, our physical health, and so on, which it has to do with our evolution. If you don't feel mentally sound, then you cannot sound or be a frequency to be elevated. Your spirituality won't be able to take you where you need to go. So there has been a fight, excuse me, while I'm moving my computer, a fight within the energies to release old patterns and continue with the new patterns. And some of us have felt stuck. And that means that, am I making enough money, Taurus? Why can't I get past this threshold? And maybe you might be focusing on money more than you are selflessness or helping others. Your ego could be caught up in the focus of money as if money is your God. In Aries, your identity, I am. Do you feel that others are more superior than you? Do you feel that what others are saying is more fluid and more necessary than what you think? You see, this is where self-development comes in. And so at this time, if you look back to 2020, you may have been someone that gave a certain um, air or a way about yourself, but that air may be being broke down because it's your ego. And if you allow the ego to be broken, healed, and your ego can submit to your spirit man, then what happens is there's a meshing and that evolution can come. And so what we're looking at is energies from 2020, what was going on till now. And I brought up the pandemic because I was talking to a friend of mine and I said, people don't allow the help of the universe to come in and help them, or they don't know when help is here because we're still caught up in the slave mentality of, I was around people that would say, I need to get back to work, but everyone was exempt from paying bills. No one was going without lights, food, and water, even though the stores may have looked like they were bare. Um, the mortgages for people were taken care of in 2020. We could go further and say, okay, we're still in a place where there's a lot of confusion, and that is Pisces energy. There's light that needs to be shed on the time that we're in right now. So even with mortgages, people can go forward because the mortgage issues are coming up again from 2008. And that means that there's something going on with the system. That means that the system that we live in is not balanced. Here we have Libra's eclipse coming up in around the 20th, I believe, of March. And Libra is going to eclipse anything out that brings imbalance for you. So, I told the people in my class, look in your Libra house for next week on Thursday and talk to me about what could be eclipsed out. And as you look at that, you'll be prepared. If we get ahead of things and stop being so religious minded where we went to churches and we've been programmed as individuals to believe that, you know, the prayers of the righteous availeth much. Prayers go up, but we don't study what's up in the heavens where the prayers are to go to. We need to study more about the heavens. We need to study more and release the ideas that have been given to us concerning the sun, the moon, and the stars. We are born at a certain time of the year for a reason, and that means that my reason is to educate people on metaphysical things and mental health circumstances, psychology, because they connect. When the lunar moons come in, people act out. There's more criminalization at that time. And the reason why is because the energies are impeding upon us. If we don't know that we need to rest or to meditate or to pray, then what happens is that the energies bring in impulses. Fight or flight begins to take place. And we move in places that we don't understand, and we wake up in jail or something has happened, and that's under the lunar moon, you know? And so we could talk to that a little bit more, but 2020, the number 4, alchemy, what does that mean to you? What was going on in your life in 2020 that you can see something happening that is comparable at this time? Whatever you need to change, whatever you need to release, talk to me, come into my classes. Thank you. Let me give you a starseed card. And I'm going to pull here. And this one here, it says, all paths lead home. Inner authority, intuition, turn your gaze within. And that's what's being called for, because anybody that does not understand why employment is not stable, or even ownership of business is not stable, is a call to go back within, go home, to beef up your spirituality, and you'll have resolve. All right. Blessings and thank you guys. Bye bye.